Helen McNamara has been giving evidence this week in the COVID inquiry in the UK. She was the Deputy Cabinet Secretary during COVID. She was described by the Prime Minister's advisor Dominic Cummings as a cunt, and he said that he would like to escort her out of the building in handcuffs, which is seriously troubling on so many levels. What we heard from her evidence was fascinating. She was trying to raise the issues that affected a lot of women in the country. She raised domestic violence, PPE not fitting women despite 77% of the NHS staff being women. She talked about cruel restrictions around pregnancy and childbirth. She talked about informal networks of carers and the impact of closing schools and nurseries, and reports that none of that was taken as seriously as a focus on the rules around attending football matches. And as things got more toxic and more shouty and more sweary, the voices of women got suppressed out of the conversation. They got less and less airtime. She has 4 children. She was connected into all those WhatsApp groups and possibly had more evidence about what was going on in the domestic sphere than anyone else in Number 10 at that time, and yet she wasn't being heard. All of which brings me on to imposter syndrome and the very idea that women going into workplaces and feeling like a fraud, feeling anxious, feeling like it's all going on in their heads are actually the problem in themselves rather than a symptom of the system. What I would say about imposter syndrome is, firstly, I'd love to do away with the term. I dislike it strongly. Secondly, a lot of the things that it drives are really important. We should have anxiety about the quality of our work. My anxiety drives me to look at presentations before I do them again and think, is this definitely going to land? What else do I need to do? Do I need to work harder? Secondly, to replace it with a specific technique that I use when I need to stop worrying anymore and just get out there, which is that when my brain throws up, but they've heard this all before, there might be nothing new, this might not resonate with them, to add a really positive but at the end and say, but I'll tell the story in a completely different way, but I'll drive a different conversation, but I'll bring data that gives them a different perspective. And so that empowers me to do a better job. What worries me far more is the people at the other end of the spectrum who have what I would perhaps call Hancock syndrome, who think that they can bat it out of the park without ever worrying whether they're doing the right thing or ever worrying about doing the right amount of work. Let me know what you think. Now, this sounds bananas, but bookings are flying in for International Women's Day and around it for March. So if that's going to be relevant to your organisation, do give us a call. We hate to say no in February. And otherwise, we'll see you next Friday.